Good morning. My name is Joe Cotter with National Resources. Like many of you, I woke up early this morning and I had a text, urgent, don't mention the Buffalo Bills. Very sensitive about the Buffalo Bills. My other text was, I'm only coming because you have a real tenant finally, my partner, Lynn Ward. But anyway, welcome to iPark 87. We've called it the Think District with the legacy of Thomas Watson and IBM of creativity and ingenuity. And here at iPark, we hope to have a new model for economic development based on three premises. One is job creation, two is environmental sustainability, and three is housing equity. So, like for a project of this size, and it is Herculean, we need teamwork. And here we're blessed with bold, bold leadership from the top, which we're very excited about, but also very solid leadership at the local level, which we don't want to understate at any level. So we're very excited, and it's my honor to introduce our county executive, Jen Metzger. So.
Good morning. So first of all, I want to thank Joe, and you've hit them all. You've hit the priorities, workforce, sustainability, equity, and that's really what we are trying to do here in Ulster County. So I want to acknowledge all of the extraordinary political leaders and statespeople that we have here with us today. I guess let's hold our applause until the end so we get through it. Senator Michelle Hinchy, our County Comptroller, March Gallagher, the Chair of the Ulster County Legislature, Tracy Bartels. Everyone can wave, so we all know where. Town Supervisor of Ulster, Jim Quigley. Steve Noble, Mayor of the City of Kingston. Tim Rogers, Mayor of the Village of New Paltz. Terry Hauk, Supervisor, Town of Woolworthing. Gary Bassett, Mayor, Village of Rhinebeck. Bill Reber, Supervisor, Town of Thompson, my old Senate district, right. Robert McKeon, Supervisor, Town of Red Hook. And then our leadership from the Mid-Hudson Regional Economic Development Council, Harold King, Adam Bosch, Dr. Leon Botstein, Dr. Darrell Wheeler, Dr. Allison Buckley, Dr. Jonas Schenker, and Mike Oates. And what a stellar crowd we have here. So, thank you. So, as many of you know, I have long been working in our county and in our state to address the climate crisis and shift to a clean energy economy, co-founding and directing Communities for Local Power, leading climate initiatives on the Rosendale Town Board, and serving in the state Senate, where I work to pass the Climate Leadership and Community Protection Act. New York's climate law is one of the most forward-looking in the country. And I have often spoken about the tremendous economic benefits to our communities of leading on climate in this state. With companies like Zinc8 coming to Ulster, we are now seeing the fruits of this law materialize. The creation of family-sustaining jobs in cutting-edge industries that build a ladder to the middle class. And we're just getting started. We're working on a major workforce development initiative here in Ulster County so that our residents here in Ulster County are the ones who benefit from these incredible job opportunities. So all of this doesn't happen without partners, without many partners. And I just want to, first of all, give a big shout out to my predecessor and now our Congressman, Pat Ryan. Pat saw the potential to build something incredible on the bones of this industrial site. And without his efforts, we wouldn't all be standing here today. I also want to acknowledge our Senator and U.S. Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, who in a really amazing feat managed to get the single largest U.S. investment in climate, the Inflation Reduction Act, passed in a divided Congress, together with the Infrastructure Investment in Jobs Act. And these foundational investments are making this possible. But last, and certainly not least, I want to express my deepest gratitude to one of our most important partners, our governor. Governor Hochul has shown tremendous leadership on the climate front, and she does not shy away from bold policy initiatives to address this existential threat. The climate initiative she just announced in the State of the State, I was so happy to be there in person. It's a perfect example. She recognizes the extraordinary benefits to our economy, to jobs, to improving public health that a green economy promises. And she wants Ulster County to realize those benefits. And just on a personal note, I want to say how incredibly refreshing it is to have a governor that really understands the value of collaboration, that knows that in order to get big things done, you have to work together. So it is my great honor as the first elected woman county executive in Ulster County to welcome and introduce our first woman elected governor of the state of New York, Kathy Hochul.
Good morning, and thank you, County Executive. We were talking about being the only women in the room when you go to your meetings of New York State County Executives, and there's 62 counties, but you are in a league of your own. So I appreciate what you go through in that position, but also your leadership and your boldness in embracing these goals long before they were popular. This has been your lifelong passion. So for you to be in a position now where you can act on that in a local way that lifts up the community that you love so much is really powerful. So let's give another round of applause to our County Executive, Ben Metzger. And to Joe Cotter, the resident visionary, who really saw, with Lynn Ward and others, a belief in transforming land, properties that others had given up on, that people thought were just too complicated, too huge to undertake, and buildings that had once teamed with 6,000 workers coming here day in and day out and creating the American dream for so many families, and all of a sudden it's gone. And you never gave up. You believed, just like people all across the state are starting to think about underutilized properties, abandoned properties, and how they can actually be not just a story of the past and a kind of a cruel reminder of the glory days, but also a reminder with vision and private sector partners teaming up with all of us that we can really make a difference. And I want to thank Joe Cotter and your team for believing in this site. And I think about 30 years of nothing going on here. You think about babies were born back then, those babies have their own babies. I mean, this goes on a long time, but now children born today will look at this site going forward and say, yes, that's where my parents worked, that's where my family started, and this is really bringing new life, a rebirth to this. So thank you to everybody who believes in this project. And also I want to thank Ron McDonald. He's not a New Yorker, but I can make him an honorary one. I just have to tell you which sports teams to root for, okay? Okay. And thank you for not, I mean, New York's had a little rough weekend. Giants fans and Jets and everybody else and the Bills. But as we always say, there's always next year, okay? There's always next year. But, coming down from Cape Breton, elected leader, member of parliament, and, transforming his passion for public service in a way that really is serving the public that we represent and bringing jobs and opportunities. And when we get attention from someone like you and your company, which is just going to flourish here, when you take advantage of the talent and the workforce that we're going to offer you, the educational opportunities from the team you'll be hiring is going to be extraordinary. But you could have gone anywhere. Ron, you could have gone anywhere, we know that. So we take nothing for granted. We welcome you with gratitude, partnership, friendship, and wishing you the very best as you continue to expand, and we'll be there to help you every step of the way. I also want to mention our Regional Economic Development Council. They're incredible. Dr. Christine Young, one of our co-chairs, Daryl Wheeler. Dr. Daryl Wheeler can't be here, I understand, but these two are the leaders of our Regional Economic Development members who are mentioned here today. This is the catalyst for change. I was Lieutenant Governor for a few years, and one of my responsibilities was to go to all these meetings throughout the state, and I know what you do. And I know how important it is that you bring to us the local vision. I'm not going to sit in Albany and pretend I have the answers of what a community wants. I wouldn't have appreciated that when I spent many years in local government. But thank you for being the voices on the ground that bring the ideas forward to help us fund everything that's going to assist these regions. So to the REDC members, I'm grateful. I look forward to re-energizing what you do, empowering you even more, because I want to make sure we're taking advantage of your talents properly. Justin Driscoll, our acting president and CEO of the NIPA. Whenever we have money to do something in the energy space that's transformative, usually New York State Power Authority is behind it. So thank you. Always be nice to Justin. He's got a lot, kind of quiet and an unassuming guy, but you really want to get to know Justin. And to all of our elected leaders who've joined us here today, I'm grateful. And again, Senator Schumer does get a shout out. What he did in Washington nationwide allows us to harness that as part of our ability to attract businesses, whether it's that or even the CHIPS initiative that he passed, that we actually were the only state to have our own green chips, which is the reason Micron is coming to the state of New York. So that's the synergy between what they do at the federal level, and we jump up very quickly and seize the opportunity here in New York. We also can create, literally in that case, 50,000 jobs. So we are so excited about those opportunities. So I'm excited to be here. I spent a lot of time in Ulster County last year. We will not talk about the ice storms that brought me here. I swear to God, 5 consecutive weekends. Am I I don't think I'm exaggerating, but luckily my head of emergency services lives out this way. Of course, she had no power either. So, but we've been through a lot together, and I see Mayor Noble here too. We walk the streets. We try to get the power back on and all this, but we know what we're doing. We are very knowledgeable in how to do this, and also I had a chance to work closely with Member of Congress Pat Ryan, and we're very proud of what he's doing now. So it is about bringing people together, solving problems, whether it's the effects of climate change, it's extreme weather that we've been experiencing. Yes, I'm from Buffalo. In November, we had an historic, record-setting, never to be repeated, 7 feet of snow, and 30 days later, we were hit with the storm of not just this century, but the last century as well. You cannot compare with the fact that we broke all records, wind velocity, days, we had gale force winds was extraordinary, and I was at an event over the weekend to commemorate the 46 lives that were lost, but also the heroes. So those are the effects, whether it's the flooding in this region, hurricanes hitting. I had 2 hurricanes my first week on the job as governor last year in New York City, not in Florida, New York City. So this is the effects. This is what we have to continue focusing on as we bring jobs and opportunities, but also ultimately we're going to be held responsible to future generations on what we did in this time. And if we don't embrace this and do bold things that are required, we're going to be leaving this planet in a much sorrier place than we found it, just like the planet we inherited when Ron may talk about where he grew up, in a coal mining area and power, and just so everybody, no one cared about the environment. No one cared about the environment. They just wanted those jobs. And that's where I grew up, Lake Erie. Shore is beautiful, one of the greatest freshwater lakes in the world. And by night, you could see everything glowing as the molten lava-looking substance was being discharged from Bethlehem Steel, and the skies, I thought as a child, were supposed to be orange because that was the color of the smoke coming out of the smokestack. So I'm an environmentalist because of that. You're an environmentalist because of what you were raised in, Ron. You'll tell your story. Jen knows the same story. So this here today brings this all together in a powerful way that says, no, this is the generation that may be the first that's really feeling the effects of climate change. We're also the last one that can do anything about it. And we will seize that moment and be defined by that. So this project on the site of a former industrial site. We do good things here on former industrial sites. So Joiner Truth Park, which was, one of my wonderful visits here, that was 500 acres of a former industrial site that people had given up along the Hudson River. My God, it's so gorgeous. So we're doing the same thing right here. Taking a former site, investing in it, bringing the resources here, and making sure that we are just embracing this phenomenal opportunity. So this project, and I'm proud to announce that Zinc8, a cutting-edge battery energy storage, it's all about the storage. I mean, who would have thought? I mean, it's like, oh, generate power. But I realize, and I've realized for a long time, it's about you need to be able to tap into that energy when other sources are not there for you, and that's what smart communities do. And so you're going to be relocating your U.S. headquarters and manufacturing facility right here in Ulster County, making them iPark 87's anchor tenant. Anchor tenant here, 237,000 square feet of warehouse and outdoor space, $67 million of investment. Let me repeat that, $68 million. I don't want to leave anything on the table there, Ron. $68 million of investment over 5 years to build out this site. And this is going to be something that I'm really excited about. 500 new, good-paying, clean energy jobs. So we were able to help with the Empire State Development tax credits, Excelsior tax credit, $9 million. And this part of this plan is to make this have a 600-unit net carbon zero footprint residential community. And those of you who are paying attention to, Joe, did you know you're putting residential here too? Okay. All of a sudden he perked up. It's like, did you know that was, that's part of the plan, Joe. Because we have to build more housing. I mean, full stop. This was the signature part of my State of the State address a couple weeks ago. It'll be a major part of our budget unveiled on Wednesday. Still working on that. Why it's so important? Because unlike when I was growing up, and we were exporting our greatest asset, our human capital, to other states, and businesses were fleeing elsewhere, whether it was Bethlehem Steel or IBM. Housing prices were cheap because they were empty houses. We have the exact opposite problem now. Because people want to be here, businesses have rediscovered New York as a place of innovation and energy and creative people, second to none. They want to be here, especially in places like Ulster County. The charm, the beauty of this area is spectacular. Spectacular, it's priceless. But if we don't create the housing, all levels of housing, then where are they going to go? How is Ron going to find homes for 500 new people and their families? So that's what's on us, and it's not going to be easy. It's all right, I didn't sign up for the easy work. I would have stayed in some other job. But it's a challenge we have to embrace. And to my local partners in government, I spent 14 years on a town board. I was liaison to the planning board, the zoning board, the traffic safety board. I know what goes into projects. I know how easy it is to say no. I also know the importance of saying yes. So that's what I'm calling on my local partners of all parties who understand that if we don't grow our communities, then people like Ron will go somewhere else where they have. And that's what we're going to do here today. Invest in this property, this project, the environmental innovation behind this, which is so important for protecting our climate, but also giving people beautiful homes. And that's why projects like these, you're going to see them all over the state of New York if we can pull together, overcome all the hesitation, and we don't want that. Let's just suck it up and move forward. That's the urgency which I approach all these issues with. So I'll let Ron talk about what you're going to be doing with Zinc8. It's extraordinary. It's part of our overall climate initiative that Jen was involved with when she was a member of the Senate. Our Cap and Invest program, bringing polluters to have to pay into funds so we can help ease the cost of transition for our residents. That's really important to us. We're going to keep making sure that we are nation leading. It's something we don't just use as a slogan. It's something we have to actually have the policies that work behind it. Because the rest of, when you say you're nation leading, that means there's a lot of other states watching what you do. And you have to be successful, because otherwise we will set the movement backwards. We have to show it can be done, that our citizens understand the urgency, that we don't create unnecessary burden on our citizens and our small businesses. So the transition has to be understood, has to be clear, and we have to have resources to make sure that we can assist in any additional cost, because ultimately the cost of transitioning is cheaper in your monthly bills. You will get to that point. It's just hard to get there at first, and we're committed to helping with that. So with that, we're going to continue where we are, being bold, sometimes audacious, and fearless. We'll be fearless in our approach to all these, and having leaders like Ron who believe in us, who believe in the potential of this region, is really gratifying as the governor, but also just reaffirms what the people of this community know, that there's no place like Ulster County. With that, let me bring up Ron McDonald, the CEO of Zinc8 Energy Solutions, to describe what we're doing here today. Ron?
Wow. Thank you, Governor, for providing the leadership that attracts companies like ours, for believing in smaller companies that have unique technologies, for doing things by way of policy that attracts us. But you know what? I was thinking, first of all, I got to tell you, my name is Ron McDonald, and I'm the President and CEO of Zinc8. But in a past life, I was a politician. I spent 17 years at the federal scene in Canada. I spent 10 years in the Canadian Parliament. And it's funny, you know, the political jobs attract people that want to change. And sometimes when they get there, the obstacles for implementing real change overcome them. And I can honestly say that has never been my view of the state of New York. And currently under the governor's leadership, she's just not talking the talk, she's walking the walk. And I'm out there in the private sector, and it's a hard place to be every day of the week, particularly with an innovative technology. But I want to say something. We started here in New York about 3 years ago. I had 14 employees. We were headquartered in Vancouver. We had a brilliant team. We had little or no money. And we didn't have a lot of believers. And there was a competition that came up, and it was New York Power Authority. They were looking for long duration, which they, at that point, thought was 5 hours and above. It's way above that now. Technology, and they wanted to pilot it. There was 102 applicants from all over the world. And New York Power Authority had the mandate coming from the state to try these new techs, see how they fit, how could it address the real climate change issues. There was 102 companies that applied, and we were the last company standing. And so that was where we started. And then 6 weeks later, with a Digital Energy, who is a private sector partner from New York, we had applied for a program out of NYSERDA. And literally weeks after the NIPA, we won that one as well. Now, what's that resulted in? Well, Governor, I'm telling you, the first project that we're going to be doing is up at Buffalo University. And we're going to provide backup power for the North Campus. It's up in your old stomping grounds there. And we're pleased as punch that we have been embraced not just by NIPA, but by state universities of New York. We're down with the Urban Institute down in Brooklyn, and they've helped us immensely. Everywhere we've turned, New York has been there to say, come on, we want you here. We'll support you here. And I think about, the local Law 97 in New York City, leading edge globally. They came in with the law and they had this challenge. What are the technologies there that can help us decarbonize buildings? 60,000 of them, big numbers, in New York City. And we were picked as the winner of that, right? So we look at that, and the real estate board in New York, best in class. So when somebody says, why New York? I say, why not New York? New York has thrown a spotlight on us. They believe in innovation, and they support innovation. But more than anything, they've got the leadership that is required to implement policy. And you're seeing this from the governor. And you see it at the national level as well. It wasn't that long ago, but maybe in September, Joe, that we had Senator Schumer here, the day that they passed the IRA in Congress. And I was proud to be on a stage with Joe and all of the municipal and state and local officials to champion that act. And that act is working with all of the policies in New York State to create New York State and hopefully Ulster County as a global hub of innovation around this. You know, there's something happening, okay? I'm an old guy. I've been around to a lot of places. I'm very, very lucky that late in my life I've been given an opportunity to contribute a little bit, right? To undoing a lot of the damage that people of my generation have done, destroying the environment. I mean, look, the storms that you had up in Buffalo, that's never happened before. You know, the storms that we've had out in British Columbia. We've had droughts, we've had fires. We've had dozens of people, just like in Buffalo, killed as a result of this. And it goes back to climate change. So to be able late in life to lead a tremendous group of a team out in British Columbia and to grow that team down here in New York and hopefully in Ulster County gives me great pleasure. I'm humbled by it. I am very much humbled by it. So what are we going to do in New York? The incentives that have been offered, support the policy. I follow policy and support the policy and I follow leadership. What Joe Cotter has done here, I mean, tremendous leap of faith, Joe, but you've done it before, and you've done it successfully. And where other people see rubble, you see opportunity. And you see opportunity in a site that has been dormant for over 30 years. And it's not just to fill it and get paying customers like me in here, but it's to partner with companies like us to make sure that not only is this site green, but it's going to attract other companies that will bring leading technology and results as we decarbonize our environment, not just in New York, but all over the world. And I'm not hesitant to say this, but as a politician, speaking to a politician, you got to be careful. I see star power here. I've been around for a lot of presidents, governors, senators, prime ministers, and there's few that you just know the first time that you hear them and see them. They're going to deliver. I am so happy today to be able to sign with the governor here for the Excelsior package. And look, I got a shout out to Empire State Development. We've worked with them for over 2 years. We started early. Dave Whipple and your team, you guys are awesome. And we keep telling all of our, no, not our competitors, we don't want them here. But we keep singing their praises, and we want to continue to learn from Empire State Development and be guided by the objectives that they implement through their policies. So with that being said and done, okay? And, you know, this is terrible. You should never put a recovering politician at the end of your speakers list. But you did. So I'm just super pleased. I am humbled. I am going to become a New Yorker. So I may have to get that designation, Governor, from you. So it's been a lifelong dream of mine to be able to deliver. You know, public policy, when you're over there as a public servant, it's a public servant. And I've brought that, hopefully, with me into my business life. We don't want to just reside here in New York, in America. We want to become part of the community. And it's who I am. And we want to work with the community. We want to work with them to make sure that the benefits that we get out of our siting and out of working in the New York economy is spread out. It's evened out. So just watch us. We're going to be here. We're going to set what a good tenant and a good partner is for the state of New York. With that said and done, thank you very, very much. And I guess I go over here now and we'll do something else. Thank you.